15. Rash driving. The corridors of Rajvanshi Palace echoed with a silence too sharp to be natural. The kind of silence that made even the chandeliers above seem to hold their breath. R.V. Rajvanshi, once the treasured heiress of Agarwal Empire, now the queen of this ancient bloodline, stepped across the marble threshold with the weight of generations trailing behind her. Her gait was poised, but her face betrayed exhaustion. Pale lips, dull glow, hair slightly disheveled from the day's trials, and yet her eyes, those storm-laced eyes, held the same sovereign blaze, inherited from the Rajput warriors, queens before her. It was the day after her wedding, and instead of surrendering to luxury, she had chosen silence and solitude. She had taken a brief leave from her college, but not from herself, not from the crown that was now clung to her soul. The moment she stepped into the lobby, her instincts kicked in. Her eyes scanned for a glass of water on the coffee table. Nothing. A frown began to form. She turned towards the dining area. Empty. Her jaw tensed. Why is there no water anywhere? Her voice was clear, sharp. Not a question, but a command wrapped in elegance. A servant, trembling, appeared in her line of sight. Like a moth pulled to fire. I asked something. Answer me. R.V.'s tone didn't rise, but it sliced. The girl stammered. Rani Sa, I... Forget it, R.V. snapped. Just get me a glass of water right now. But the girl didn't move. Not an inch. R.V.'s breath hitched. Her voice dropped an octave, now more growl than grace. Did I stutter? The servant's voice quivered. I'm sorry, but we can't. Why the hell not? It's Rajasa's command. R.V. froze. Her pupils dilated. Her breath deepened. A storm brewed quietly behind her calm exterior. What did you just say? She asked slowly, enunciating each syllable like a blade being unsheathed. The girl lowered her gaze. He said no one's to offer you even a drop of water until you meet him. The silence that followed wasn't hollow, it was haunting. A queen denied her most basic need, a punishment not of flesh but of pride. R.V. straightened. Do you even realize who you're speaking to? Yes, Rani Sa, but the command, it came from the king. R.V.'s lip parted, slightly, not in shock but disbelief. Her fury didn't explode. It simmered, slow, deadly, a silent promise of retribution. She turned. Each step she took towards the exit left behind a trail of suppressed fire. Her eyes scanned the staff, each one avoiding her gaze. Cowards in royal clothing. At the gates, she gestured wordlessly at the valet. Car keys, now. I'll drive, Rani Sa, just say where. She didn't let him finish. One glance from her, and he swallowed his words. It wasn't rage in her eyes. It was a calm darker than anger. A calm before a massacre. The keys landed in her hand. She entered the car, turned the ignition, and roared through the palace gates like a force underneath her. The guards scrambled to follow. 3 SUVs later, but kept their distance. Orders weren't given. They were understood. Maintain distance, one of the guards said to the others. If we get too close, she might just kill someone. R.V.'s hair flew wildly in the wind, her hands gripping the steering wheel with ruthless precision. She wasn't just driving, she was hunting. And the prey? Ayansh Rajvanshi, her king, her captor, her guest, her uncle. You dared to deny me water. On what right? On what authority? You want war, Ayansh? I bring it to your doorstep. The car veered across a narrow bridge, tires screeching like they'd been set on fire. Dust and raves swirled in her wake. Even the road seemed to tremble beneath her. The guards behind exchanged worried glances. To be alert the kick, the team leader shook his head. No, follow the chain, call Rana Sa, let them decide. The call connected, and at that very moment, on the 71st floor of Rajvanshi Enterprises, inside a conference room lit by opulence and authority, the meeting was in full swing. Titans of industry sat around a glass table, discussing empires and profits. At the head of the table, silent, still, supreme, sat Ayanj Rajvanshi. His fingers tapped the table once, twice, then his phone buzzed. He picked it up, listened, didn't say a word, not at first. Then, a slow inhale, as if the air around him had become suddenly heavier. He dismissed the call, looked at the floor manager. Excuse us, the man scurried out. Silence returned. Ayan stood, not rushed, not startled, just still. Focused, calculating. He knew this was coming. He had designed it. The hunger, the defiance, the confrontation. But he hadn't expected this form of fury. This recklessness. She wasn't just angry. She was ablaze. A queen who refused to be tamed. He returned to Rana, who stood quietly at the entrance now. When she arrives, he said coolly, no one stops her. No guards, no protocol. Rana nodded and left. Back at the conference room, Ayan's fingers pressed together beneath his chin, forming the stifle. A smirk crept across his face. Not one of amusement, but possession. She's coming to me, and once she crosses the line, there's no going back. Because this wasn't just a fight about water. This was a war of wills, a dance of fire and ice, and the queen had made her first move. What do you think Ayanj will do when she storms into his domain? Will fire meet fire? Or will the king show her the price of rebellion? Comment your guesses and prepare for the most explosive confrontation it sees.
Married to My Uncle, A Contract Marriage. Listen to the full audiobook on YouTube or Pratilipi FM. Alfazo Ka Safarnama.